All right, thank you for your patience, everyone. We can go ahead and begin today's session. I want to thank you all for taking the time to attend our webinar, Introduction to CA Series, our overview webinar to introduce our high-frequency solderless compression mount connectors and interposers. We hope you'll find today's 20-minute session helpful in understanding how we can provide the programs you're working on with a mechanically and electrically reliable, reusable, high-speed connector solution. Just a bit of housekeeping, we have all attendees on mute, so please submit your questions via the questions box, and we'll do our best to answer those questions during our session at the end of the presentation. We've also uploaded our company overview and our CA series catalog that you can download at any time from the handout section in the handouts panel. At the conclusion of this webinar, you'll be asked to take a short survey. This helps us gather feedback on how to improve future webinars and webinar content. You'll also be brought to a short video which elaborates on our patented contact technology. We encourage you to share that video with any of your colleagues that you think might be interested. Lastly, we're aware that many of you are taking time from work right now, so we'll do our best to keep the session to the time allotted. So a little bit about Arden Concepts. Arden is a leading designer and manufacturer of high-performance multi-coax and coaxial assemblies, connectors, and sockets used in the development of next-generation semiconductors and electronic systems. Our core technology is the fastest, smallest, and most electrically efficient compression mount connector system worldwide. And as data rate requirements increase and devices and systems shrink, Arden's products deliver superior signal integrity in a dense footprint that can be reusable across programs to maximize cost savings. Our product categories that we talk about are our TR series multi-coax, today's webinar feature, the CA series connectors and interposers, our SK series bench test sockets, and our IC footprint probe series probes for probing PCB systems. Arden's core competencies are signal integrity. We're passionate about high performance, and we're dedicated to improving the data rates of even the most advanced systems. Compression mount technology. Our products are all based on our solderless compression mount IP, so our compliant contacts, which are enabling higher frequency electronic transition lines by minimizing the number of transitions, and performance. We've used our contact sets in proven applications across many industries, including mil-spec applications, and Arden's patented technologies are production proven with over 10 years, but now actually 15 years of field use. Today's webinar topic, CA series connectors and interposers, highlight our board-to-board and other types of interposers that Arden produces out to 56 gigabit per second solutions, and those are solderless compression mount connectors and interposers. They offer high density for applications like high-speed backplanes, mezzanines, edge cards, optical applications, and pitches down to 0.4 millimeter pitches. It's a pure vertical interface, so there's no offset required with our interposers, meaning that between boards, for example, there's no offset that the landing pad of the board has to be different than the contact itself. It's a pure vertical interface. And our connectors are reliable under extreme conditions. So Arden connectors are actually rated to MIL 202 standards and have gone through shock and vibe, salt fog, and other environmental factors that can show that the connectors work in very rigorous settings. From a benefits perspective, our connectors offer bandwidth and performance up to 56 gigabits per second, and our patented compliant contacts ensure good electrical contact. From a density and flexibility standpoint, we can offer you an area array down to 0.4 millimeter pitch and anywhere above in many different types of patterns. And as I mentioned, it's a pure vertical interface. And our cost savings. So we use a stamped contact set for OEM applications. It can be run through automation, and we can offer you contact sets and cycle counts of 1,000 or up to 10,000 mechanical cycles. Typical applications where we see our connectors used: high node count, low force connection systems, reticle inspection systems, typical 32 gigabit per second board-to-board connectors, our variable height coaxial patterns for phased array type systems or for systems that are modular in nature. We can offer custom cutouts in our connectors, so we can make our connectors in a variety of form factors that may avoid important components on the board. Optical interposers. So we have a variety of different ways that we can produce these connector systems for your application-specific needs, and we're happy to work with you to do so. So tantamount to all of our different connectors certainly is our patented technology. So Arden's dedicated to finding creative and effective solutions for the most challenging demands encountered by engineers as they seek to create the world's fastest, highest performing electronic systems. The most fundamental piece in the design of those CA series connectors is the utilization of dual-sided compression mount technology for a true solderless solution. Our dual-sided compression mount technology is core in all of the designs of our products, as well as all of our connectors, and brings many benefits to the test and measurement field, or OEM fields. Unlike anything else on the market, we designed and developed this compression mount contact set from a single wire form more than 15 years ago. Our compression contact technology is a low compression force solution, requiring compressive loads within familiar ranges similar to that of a pogo pen. The ability to offer these low compressive force contacts allows our connectors to be used on a variety of PCB materials, including some softer, high-speed materials like flex PCB. Amphenol Ardent populates all of their products with one of two different compliant contact families. And on the slide here, the first contact family you'll see in the top left is known as the RC spring probe. It comes in a variety of form factors and is capable of up to 70 gigahertz performance in certain configurations. As you can see here, the RC spring probe acts similar to a compression spring in that when axial force is applied to the straight portions of the wire form, the coil in the center compresses, similar to that of a solid state compression spring. And in addition to compressing the coils together, that unique angled feature that you can see allows the coils to wipe against each other. This wiping motion can also aid in reducing oxidation and debris. Our other patented contact set is our RC connector, and that's in the bottom left here on your screen. The RC connector operates in a slightly different manner. The entire contact acts like a system of cantilevered beams, and so when axial compression is applied to either end of that contact, the horizontal beams deflect and compress. When those beams deflect, the lance that protrudes from the ends of the beam come in contact with the next lower beam. Again, here we see a wiping motion occur at the contact point of the lance to beam, and during that wiping motion, we also get a twisting motion at the rounded point of the contact. The twisting motion provides the added benefit of wiping the contact pad of the PCB and provides an oxidation scrubbing effect. So the culmination of these unique single element contact technologies allows for a very short compressed contact. And the short electric length allows for superb signal integrity and performance. Along with having a very short electrical length, the shorting method of the contact compression technology provides a contact with low self-inductance. And this is balanced by the dielectric values of the housings that these wire forms are inserted into to produce an electrical interconnect with a controlled impedance of 50 ohms. We use both of these contact families in all of our connector designs and encourage you to speak with us to determine which contact set is most suitable for your application. For the purpose of this webinar, we'll be speaking mostly about the connector contact set, as that's the one that we use in our automation loading for our high volume OEM connector systems. So just to give you a perspective of the size of the contacts as they fit in our insulators, we actually have a scale here of our contact reel next to a penny, a standard US penny. So you can see a singulated contact is just really tiny. And so, this gives you an idea of what kind of pitch we might be able to control the connectors to, and gives you an idea of really what size we're working with for those individual contacts. And so you can see a singulated contact there on the right-hand side. The form factors we offer for our connector systems, a variety of different types, from board to coaxial and custom pattern, our variable height RF interposers, our optical interposers, and we also offer a space transformer interposer that actually takes signals from a very tight pitch and expands them out to a wider pitch. We'll touch on each of these in the next few slides, but just wanted to identify the different types of connectors we can make, and also to make a note that any AC characterization report is available. Certainly just reach out to us at support@ardenconcepts.com, and we can provide that AC characterization report for our connector systems and our contact technology. So the first and most common type of board-to-board connector system we'll talk about comes in an area array down to a 0.8 millimeter pitch. This utilizes our connector contact set and is capable of performance out to 32 gigabits per second and is used in applications today at those speeds. This gives us an option for a quick turn automation loaded connector, and it's ideal for high volume OEM applications, things like test of high-speed optical connectors or motherboard and daughter card solutions that require an area array connector system to mate the two together. We can offer you 40 gigahertz AC performance, and it's a highly configurable design, meaning we can do lead counts of 1 or 2 up to thousands. And so we can work with you to design a custom connector for your needs. So this does a good job of filling the gap between expensive spring pin solutions, like for example, a pogo pin, and maybe unreliable elastomeric contact sets that are not great for larger form factors. For pitches that are required to be tighter than 0.8 millimeters, which is what the connector contact set is able to go down to, we might utilize our spring probe contact set in a certain interface technology for our connector systems. So anything tighter than a 0.8 millimeter pitch, we can use that spring probe contact set down to 0.4 millimeter pitches. This connector sandwiches our spring probe contact between two insulator plates. We call them a top and bottom plate, and allows for a high-speed connector system at a very, very tight pitch. And so depending on the pitch requirements of your application, we'll recommend a contact set and a design to help you with that. So another type of connector system we offer and that our customer base has been quick to adopt is our coaxial pattern interposers. So it utilizes the same coaxial structure that we use in our TR multi-coax product, and customers with RF signaling needs at very high signal integrity can get a connector system in a 4, 8, 12, 16, and 24 channel configuration. And the signal-to-signal spacing in our standard configuration is 2.54 millimeters, providing for a crosstalk near or at our instrument floor. So a very, very well-shielded signal-to-signal contact set and a connector system that mimics our interface for our TR coax system. What's really nice and what we have customers using today is the ability to use this for a board-to-board connector system. And then if there are issues between the motherboard and daughter card, they can actually pull out that connector system and utilize our TR multi-coax to probe those signals to ensure where on those boards the errors might be coming from and which channel. So it's a really unique way to combine both our TR multi-coax and our coaxial pattern connector systems to provide an all-around tool for success in development of your products. Again, this can utilize either our connector contact set or a spring probe contact set with performance out to 40 gigahertz. And we do have a note here as well to ask about our single channel press fit connector system. So we can utilize just a single coaxial channel, what we call a puck, to create a quick press fit connector system. Our variable height interposer, RF interposer here, is another unique design, which is ideal for applications like phased array radar or 5G base stations. And our variable height RF interposers utilize two coaxial pattern interposers that we looked at just before on the slide that we were previously looking at, and then combines them with a 50 ohm feed-through block in the middle, which can be height adjusted to clear important components on the board in board-to-board applications or modular systems. So this is a much denser solution than, say, for example, catcher mitts or GPPO bullets. So again, a solution that lets you have a high density connection between boards and avoids, expensive components or allows those expensive components to be between the two systems, whether it's a motherboard and a daughter card or two boards, like two motherboards, for example. The last connector system we'll talk about here is our optical engine connectors. And these are quick turn automation loaded connectors, ideal for high volume OEM applications of optical engines. And so these connectors can be either molded in high volume or machined in small volume and can be used for OEM systems to mate the optical engines directly to the PCB. And you can see a small diagram here on the slide of an optical module with our interposer and then the PCB. And then you'd be able to place a small lid, screw down lid on top of this. And if you required a heat sink and fan as well, if you needed to. And so in this case, we've included also here our eye diagrams showing a very, very clean transition between the optical module, the interposer, and the PCB. This again utilizes our connector contact set and is capable of performance up to 32 gigabits per second. So we have these connector systems included in lots of high volume OEM solutions today out on the marketplace. So a bit of a breakdown, just understanding our connector systems and how they work. As I mentioned, they are a true solderless compression mount technology, and the CR contact set has dual force compression, so compression on either side of the contact set. And so in this case, what we'd look at would be a sample mechanical drawing of the connector on the left-hand side, showing the populated insulator, the dowel pins for fine alignment of the connector system, and then hardware to mount the connector system between the two boards. So in this case, you can see PCB1 and PCB2. There'll be a footprint on either one of those boards and a connector system mated in between them, and then a couple screws to mate those boards together. Options also include things like a lid if you didn't have two boards. If you had, for example, a board mated to another board and you needed compression on the top side, you could include a lid as well. So a pretty typical application here of our connector system, again, a true vertical interface, and in this case, just a bridge between two PCBs. So a bit about the timeline and understanding how we leverage our designs to produce a prototype connector system out to a high volume connector system. In this case, we usually leverage our library of existing designs, and we can deliver prototypes of any type of connector, custom connector for your needs, within about 6 to 8 weeks after custom design approval. So what we'll do is we'll work with the customer to look at the design, make sure it fits for the PCB, make sure it fits for the SI requirements. And after that design's improved by the customer, we can deliver first prototypes within 6 to 8 weeks. And that ties into our custom design services. So obviously you have a dedicated design engineer who's working with you to meet design specifications, ensure bandwidth performance, and gain approval before that design goes to production. So once those machine units are shipped to the customer for in-system electrical validation, that usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks, we found, with the customer, and we allow that customer to test that connector system in their design. So this is the next step, again, and usually about 2 to 4 weeks. Upon approval and a desire to move to higher volume, we offer a mold process, and that gets initiated and refined to ensure optimal first pass of good parts. So we work with our mold vendor to ensure that the tolerances can be met and the specs can be met. And that mold is quoted and ordered, and first article samples are delivered within about 10 to 12 weeks. From there, and actually simultaneously, we develop fixtures and tooling to ensure that when those molded parts come in, we can work with them and develop automation pallets, for example, to house those insulators, to have the contacts automatically loaded using our automation equipment here in our facility. Now, along with those same lines, not only can we produce that within our facility, but also being acquired by Amphenol has allowed us to have a better system to move up for production and utilize production facilities under Amphenol to produce ultra high volume connector systems. So the first articles of those molded parts are delivered, and electrical validation again takes another 2 to 4 weeks to make sure that those molded parts at the customer are working as specified. And then once approved, moving forward with any new deliveries, we start to go through our quality overview process, which includes inspection equipment, utilizing our on-site signal integrity lab and production test lab, and any type of registration or compliancy that's necessary, like ITAR, RoHS, or REACH compliance. So we go through a full quality overview to make sure that anything going out our doors is certainly meeting quality specs and signal integrity specs. And so that's a very important piece of any type of OEM connector system, obviously, and we put processes in place to ensure that happens. From there, with the ability to scale volume, we start to begin to ship those production volumes, and we start to look at things like packaging requirements and access to the production facilities of Amphenol if we need to ultra scale for high volume production. So certainly we can offer you, jewel cases or high volume packaging with lot and serial numbering to make sure that everything that comes through your door meets any of the specifications you desire. So just an overview of the production timeline again: prototype, design validation, molding ordered, first articles of that mold delivered, and then production volumes we begin shipping. So you're looking at about a 3-month turnaround, give or take, for any type of real high volume application. And so we're happy to discuss that with you and help you with that and walk you through those steps. So certainly a path to high volume solutions as well. So in summary, CA series connectors and interposers deliver density and flexibility. So an area array down to 0.4 millimeter pitch, a pure vertical interface with no offset required, solderless and reusable solutions. From a bandwidth and performance perspective, connector systems out to 56 gigabits per second and beyond, and patented compliant contacts ensure repeatable and mechanically reliable electrical contact and cost savings. So as we mentioned, that CAR contact set is a stamped contact set available for OEM applications, and we offer molded and off-the-shelf designs. So we're happy to scale with you for those designs. Summary of Arden concepts: utilizing our patented ConnectAR contact set, customers are able to achieve industry-leading signal integrity in a cost-efficient package. Customers can leverage existing designs for quick turn prototyping in order to electrically validate our connectors in their systems. Custom design engineering team will work with the customer to understand the project scope and goals to ensure that design needs are met and exceeds all customer specifications. Upon approval of those machine units, Arden can quote and produce molded insulators for high volume, cost-effective scalability. Electrical test fixtures, high volume pallets, and cost-effective packaging and shipping options ensure that the program is successful. And there are scalability safeguards, so things like added shifts, additional machines, or access to additional Amphenol facilities, which ensure Arden is positioned to handle any volume adjustments required. So that concludes the presentation segment of the webinar today. We're now going to open up the session to the questions that have been submitted to the question box. So we've been compiling lists from that chat box, and I'll pick a few at random. If for some reason we run out of time, which we're about 7 minutes out from, and your question doesn't get answered, please note that someone will be following up with you to get your question answered, and certainly we will reach out to you to do that. So with that said, let's get to the first set of questions. And first one is, what environmental shock and vibe or other testing has this product been tested under? So that's a great question. I may have missed the specification earlier. So our connector systems have been tested to MIL standard 202. So they've gone through shock and vibe, salt fog, and temperature testing, and have passed all to the MIL 202 standards. We're happy to send that report out to any customers who request it. So again, if you have any questions about that testing, please reach out to support@ardenconcepts.com. I'll probably say that a couple of times in today's webinar. That's the quickest way to get technical information in your hands, support@ardenconcepts.com. So another question, what is Arden's RMA process for repair and pin replacement on contacts? So that's a great question. So that very much depends on the contact family that a customer's solution utilizes. So for example, if it's, that will determine whether or not we replace the entire assembly or refurbish it. So typically for a spring probe connector assembly, we would possibly do pin replacement for our CR contact set, the automation loaded contact set, the stamped contact set, I should say. Those are typically going to be a full interposer replacement. We don't have a way to pull out an individual pin and reload through our automation equipment. So again, that's the CR contact set. The stamped contact set is our more cost efficient automation loaded contact set, and that would typically just be an interposer replacement. But again, if you have questions, certainly reach out to us and we can help you understand what that process would be. Okay, another question. Of all the contact solutions Ardent offers, which contacts should we use and why? That's a really good question as well. So our contact family is meant to fit a variety of different applications, environments, temperatures, pitches, frequency ranges. So rather than you taking a guess at which contact set fits your application best, we ask you to reach out to us and we can help you choose the contact set that's right for your application based on those factors and those variables. So, that's our expertise. We'll walk you through it and understand, which cost restrictions you have, what SI requirements you have, how many cycle counts you need, and we'll help you pick a contact set that fits your application best. So leave that to us. We'll take the guesswork out of it and make it an easy solution for you. What care or maintenance is required for the CA connectors and interposers? So, we often recommend that our customers institute their own kind of preventative maintenance plan. And so this will guarantee the longest life possible of the connectors. We have results that show that our CR contact set can hit 1,000 mechanical cycles repeatedly. And this is probably conservative. We do have customers using that CR contact set out to multiple thousand cycles. But we want to be conservative with that 1,000 cycle rating. We've tested our spring probe contact sets out to a 10,000 mechanical cycles. And so, where you're going to be expecting a high cycle count, a solid preventative maintenance plan is really encouraged. I understand that isn't always the case. And, we just ask you to reach out to us to look at the best care and maintenance procedures. We can certainly supply an application note to you, which we've created, which will help you with preventative care and maintenance with our connector systems. And we'd be happy to supply that as well. So again, reach out to support@ardenconcepts.com to take a look at that system. Okay, it looks like probably the last question we'll have time to get to today, and we'll see if we can maybe squeeze one more in. But what do I need to be conscious of for the footprint layout? So we have footprint files available for any of our off-the-shelf connector systems that we've created. We're happy to share those with you and help you with the layout of that board. For custom connectors, while our engineering team designs that custom connector for your application, we'll also supply the footprint file specific to that design. And so we provide support throughout your PCB fabrication and design process. We think that providing that assistance, we can guarantee that there aren't mistakes in the board layout. And so we always encourage you to share with us your board layout and board stack up. This, in the end, will help save valuable cost and time in designing those applications and use of our connector systems. Okay, so I think that we're up against the timeline here. Again, I apologize if we didn't get to answer any of your questions here today. If not, we will certainly reach out to you via our applications engineering team, or feel free to submit questions again to support@ardenconcepts.com. If you have sales-related questions, please reach out to info@ardenconcepts.com. Again, that will get you in the queue and get your questions answered very quickly. I want to thank everyone for attending today, and thank you for your time. And have a great day. We hope to see you on another webinar.
Thanks for watching. Please don't hesitate to contact us for help solving your application challenges.